So Sandy Cortez and dozens of other Democrats in the House of Representatives have just written a letter demanding that we allow felon gang members, violent criminals, to stay in our country. And you're racist if you don't want to do that. Then we've been making a lot of announcements on this show recently. This one is special to a lot of people in our midst. A bizarre tradition on this show. We'll let her play us out. Apologize for that. First, a quick note. We ended the last segment on tape of the singer Cher. We want to apologize for that. Cher may be a great person. She happens to be my least favorite singer ever. That tape was the result of an internal prank that's been going on for quite some time on this show. Someone put it in the script, and like your average low IQ anchorman, I just read it cold. So I want to apologize for inflicting Cher on you. That won't happen again. Well, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has finally found a problem with Joe Biden's immigration policy. No, she's not crying at yet another fence outside an immigration facility, but she's still pretty upset. She's upset that Joe Biden is not doing enough to help MS-13. He's doing a lot to help, but not enough, according to Sandy Cortez. She was one of 34 House Democrats who sent a letter to the DHS Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, urging the government to deport fewer violent gang members and other felons. Quote, "We urge the Biden administration to pursue humane and just immigration policies that aim to end mass incarceration, criminalization, and deportation of immigrants." They went on to suggest that anyone who's against this is, needless to say, wait for it, a racist. Jonathan Fahey is the former director of ICE. We're happy to have him join us tonight. Mr. Fahey, thanks so much for coming on. More violent gang members. I hate to ask you a philosophical question, but what could, other than destroying the United States, why would someone be for this?
Other than just simply trying to get as many illegal aliens in the country as possible and to encourage more to come by saying there's no scenario you'll get thrown out, I can't think of anything whatsoever. It clearly will harm public safety. And this is so remarkable because if you think about it, it wasn't that long ago when Democratic politicians might be on a stage with police officers or crime victims and speaking on their behalf. Now we have AOC and 34 or so House members using their power, prestige, time, resources to advocate on behalf of MS-13 members. It is truly astonishing, and there is no consideration for the victims of these gang members because most of them have probably committed horrible crimes while they're here, but if we leave them here, they'll commit even more crime. And how do you talk to a crime victim or a crime victim's family member and explain to them why we didn't deport an MS-13 member? It is truly astonishing, and this is on the heels of Joe Biden's the policy of what they are now deporting, which is a very timid response, just basically enough to pass a laugh test. You have to meet so many criteria to get deported. They don't want to deport most criminals. They want to make it hard to deport any gang members. They support sanctuary cities. And then this to say this is not even enough, it's truly astonishing. And people really wonder why we have this issue at the border. Well, we send the message loud and clear that no matter what you do when you get here, you will never be deported. And when you're here, you get everything American citizens get, and then some, because you clearly have a lot more representation in Congress than most Americans, and certainly than crime victims, which is horrible. But you also have more representation in the White House. And again, this is like every single one of these things. The people that bear the cost of this, the people that live in the neighborhoods that are afflicted by the gang members and by the gang crimes, that are intimidated, that are terrorized, that are victims of most horrible crimes, they're not the ones that are making these policies. They're not the ones that are going, driving to Whole Foods, parking outside in their Tesla. It's always the people that are the forgotten people that absorb all of these costs. And it is really, it's so harmful. It's one of the most cynical and dishonest policy debates we've ever had in this country. And you look at this border crisis where you have the vice president, I don't want to say her name for fear of mispronouncing it, but they put her in charge of this. One of the reasons is to really send the message that anyone can come here, because they put somebody in charge of the border that hates law enforcement and is pro-open borders and pro-amnesty. So what is the message to the rest of the world? Come on in, it's open borders, it's amnesty, and if you come in, you're never getting kicked out.
The message is we hate America. Kamala Harris and Ocasio-Cortez did not build this country. They couldn't have. They're not capable enough to do that. They hate it, and they're trying to destroy it. There's no other explanation that I can see. You don't have to affirm that, but it's clear to me at this point. I appreciate your coming on. Jonathan Fahey, thank you.
Thank you.
So Tony Fauci, we now know